Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Commissar here, and today I've got a 1 vs 1 StarCraft 2 commentary featuring Empire Vines, formerly OGS Vines I believe, spotting in the top left hand side of Ohana Beach today, and in the bottom right hand side of the map we happen to have none other than Liquid's TLO yet again, a player I've casted a fair bit in the last few days. Okay, so introducing the two players for you today. TLO I have introduced over the last couple of days, but for those of you who have not seen those casts, which were against Thorazane was one of them, and the other one, I forget who that was against, Select it was. And he has two very good games, but regardless, TLO is obviously part of Team Liquid, and he is playing out of Korea on the Korean server, living in Korea, practicing among Koreans, and basically doing nothing but practicing, as he is not in any major tournaments and certainly has not got any results lately as a result of his training. So, his opponent, Empire Vines, is obviously a part of Team Empire now, a European-based team, and he has taken part in the GSTL, the GSTL being the Global StarCraft 2 Team League, where he is representing Team Empire. And other than that, despite spending a lot of time as a rank 1 Grandmaster, say in America, he has, for the most part, not really achieved very much in individual tournaments. His best real result was probably NA Play Him Dailies, which is $75 tournaments. He's won a few of those, but other than that, he's not really won anything. So, Vines, of course, is a very good player, one of the best players on ladder, and he is, certainly very, very impressive in terms of his team. It's a very good team, and where he does play, but he hasn't really achieved a great deal in terms of big results. As such, I don't know who I'd call favourite today, because of course, most Koreans would be called favourite against someone like TLO, but, you know, TLO's not a bad player, so hopefully we'll be in for a good game today. So we do indeed have the spawning pull down before the hatchery of TLOs. Of course the expansion is being delayed as this is PvZ, and in general most Protoss just pylon block, and that really slows down a Zerg. You can see Tulings are on the way, but this probe may try to throw down a gateway to delay this expansion even further, and then cancel it before it finishes. That is something which a lot of players like to do, and he may do that, but the Lings may scare away the probe. We'll have to wait and see, and he does try to, and he gets it! There is the gateway which I was talking about. So yeah, that'll obviously not last very, very long, but at the same time it is delaying, TLO. And at the moment you can see TLO producing queens. He's onto his second queen already before the hatch starts. So it's not really very good for him, and you can see he had a bit of money baking up in the top right hand side of the screen. He is going to go for a quick third base too. He has his Tulings coming down here to scare away this probe in order for him to plant the hatch, but blocked by Vines. Vines doing a very good job of this blocking, and he does also know that there are 3 bases now. That probe confirmed it, so he knows, okay, I'm against a quick 3 bases, and now it's up to Vines to basically slow down TLO further. He already has done a little bit, but it's up to him to say apply some sort of pressure to try and prevent that drone count getting out of control, or to try and keep up himself by expanding. The common route, of course, being a 4-gate of 2 bases to pressure that third base. It does force units to be produced, even if it doesn't end the games very often. So we'll have to wait and see if that is indeed what Vines goes for, as I'm quite unfamiliar with his playstyle. We do indeed see him taking his third gas geyser, not all 4, up to 3 now, with the Cybercore on the way. So 3 gas geysers straight away suggests what? It suggests there is no gateway all-in coming, at least it's not a fast gateway all-in, and not like a 6-gate or anything, and you can see TLO knows this because his overlord is here, as really, some gateway all-ins either have 1 gas or 2 gas, depending on how early they are. The strongest pure gateway all-ins may only have a single gas geyser. That's the 6-gate, the most common one. Whereas, say, if you're adding Immortals, Sentries, Blinkstalkers, then of course you need more gas geysers. So basically, TLO knows, okay, the attack won't be super early, so I am at least safe for the time being to join up. You can see TLO is joining up quite heavily. He is getting 2 more Lings, but only 2 just to get map control, and other than that he is just going full-on macro mode, starting to spread creep. As you can see, he does like to get a lot of queens, as I've seen in his other games, and hopefully for his sake he does actually get out those extra queens, as we do see a Stargate on the way for Vines, which is over at the back of his base. away from any overlords. You can see even having sentries patrolling and having pylons to spot for overlords, basically trying to make it impossible for his opponent to scout that Stargate. And that Stargate might be effective, but at the same time, we've seen TLO the last couple of days, and against Select, even against Thorozane, I believe, he had something like 5 queens out on the map at once. We do see a queen in production here, so that will put TLO's queen count up to 4, and his creep spread is already very good. So basically, I feel like this Stargate decision of Empire Vines is going to play really, really well for TLO. Why do I say this? Well, he has the queens. Even though he'll be on 4 bases, he will be a bit spread out. He will lose a few overlords, no doubt, but he does have the queens, and also he has the very important creep spread, so that the queens can actually group up into one mass and not be lifted up and picked off one by phoenixes. We do, of course, see phoenixes now coming out for Vines. They are building up. He's probably going to get 4, I'd say, then move out. That is the most common number. He doesn't want to reveal them, so they're staying at the very back of the base for the time being. And he might go for overlords, or he might just go straight for the base of his opponent. It depends on whether he wants, whether his aim is to harass or to end the game. And he does already have a robo out, so you'd have to assume that this play is more to get at a few phoenixes, try to do some damage, and then transition as quickly as possible into Colossi. The ideal result, of course, being that you can force your opponent into Hydras, and as you can see, before the phoenixes move out, we already have this robotic spay down for Vines. So Vines is going to make a very good transition here in just a moment, and in the meantime we'll have to wait and see if these phoenixes get anything accomplished. They do see the 4th base completing, very good scouting info as well for Vines through this. But 2 queens already down here. They will get lifted up though. There is a spore here, going to force that Phoenix to waste a bit of energy to take a bit of damage. And 1 queen goes down, bringing the count down to a total of 3. Going to keep the units tab open for you for a little bit. And we do see a 2nd queen probably going to go down, so this is the problem for TLO. His phoenixes are not grouped up together, and these spores should protect his drones for the most part, but his queens, of course, still very vulnerable. His queen a bit safer back closer to that spore gorilla. Okay, meanwhile it looks like we are going to see the phoenixes just look for overlords. They realize that they can't get any more drones or anything as spores are in the way. So, because there's no void ray, they can't attack the ground units. All they're going to do is just try and pick off whatever they can, take a little bit of shield damage, and try not to lose any of the phoenixes. And one might go down on 6 health points. Very, very close call there. TLO is going to scout this. Vines moving out for a 3rd base. What he doesn't know is what's on the way in terms of Colossi, but the good news for TLO is that he is going Spire, and he has been able to deflect the Phoenixes without actually building Hydras. That of course means that the Colossi will not necessarily roll over him, and that he may indeed be able to hold on to the game, to be able to have a good army composition against his opponent, as he does have a really, really good economy. And I would say overall, even though Vines is certainly not in a bad spot to be, his army's shaping up to be quite decent, his harvester count's quite good, 2 fully saturated bases, he's against an opponent with 85 harvesters already, and 4 bases, and he is only getting his 3rd right now. So really, if TLO's, if TLO gets to Hive Tech, he's probably going to win the game. Probably, it's not necessarily true, but without Vines changing something, without him doing some damage, or without him expanding really aggressively to 4 bases, or just totaling up magnificently well and getting some good engagements off 3 bases, TLO's macro is going to be very, very hard to control. We do indeed see a couple of roaches being picked off here by Vines. Always good to do whatever damage you can to soften up an impending push. And we do indeed see that the roaches are going to be split up to scout, apparently, by TLO. TLO going up, sees the 3rd base on the way. So that's all the scouting information he needs from that unit. And oh, the roach is not dead for some reason. Meanwhile, we do indeed see the Phoenixes continue to harass here, but a single Corruptor is out, now 3 Corruptors, and these Corruptors, of course, are going to be great for the Colossi and great for morphing into Broodlords later on. So it is going to be a very, a style which Idra actually used to like. He did go Mutiling in the games that we saw, but the style which Idra used to like was, say, Roach Corruptor, that sort of thing. And we are going to see Roachling Corruptor for the time being as the tier 2 tech of TLO, but he already has his hive on the way, only 1 minute away, and then you'll see a big swarm of Broodlords, and here come the Phoenixes in, trying to take on the Corruptors. I believe Yeah, I think the Corruptor's taking a little bit of a beating. The Colossi is so far untouched. One tank has a bit of shield damage, but that is about it. And the third Colossus is now out on the field, so this army is getting pretty scary for Vines. And really, this tier 2 composition of TLO is going to struggle a little bit without a big upgrade advantage. So the upgrades are 2 armor, 1 attack for Vines, and 1 attack upgrade only for... Sorry, 1 attack upgrade only for Vines, and 2 armor, 1 attack for TLO. So TLO does have the upgrades that he needs. He is getting air upgrades too now. The question will really be about how he gets into Hive Tech and if he can hold on until then, whilst containing his opponent, as if he achieves that, he'll be in a very good spot going forward. That being said, it looks like Vines might be applying some pressure, but TLO moving out himself, just poking up, losing a few lings, no big deal. Losing 2 Corruptors though is a bit unfortunate, as that costs him gas, and he needs gas from Broodlords. But again, a 4-cook basis means that TLO has a lot of gas in abundance, and 7 Corruptors are on the way right now, as well as a Greater Spire, and a second Spire to get double air upgrades, and here comes a big battle in the middle of the map. We can see Roaches rather being killed, as opposed to a big battle. It's just TLO taking losses while retreating. That is going to put Vines way ahead in units lost, as do those efficient Phoenixes, which are now basically dead. And oh, losing a few Overlords, will it supply block TLO? To be honest, it does not matter, as he is at 200 already, and the answer is no, it will not, although he is going to lose a few Corruptors over here. Never a good thing to do. Trying to go for a counter, he's just delaying for the Hive Tech now, as he is into the natural of his opponent. Meanwhile, over at the third base, his Roaches are attacking, trying to focus down the third base. That will be key if he does get it down. It looks like it may go down. And meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we do see a big battle here, with the Stalkers cleaning up the Corruptors, and the Colossi, meanwhile, 2 of them are still alive. The middle of the map favoring Vines heavily, but at the same time, the third is down, the natural is down, and oh my god, Vines is down to 1 mining base, and he has a really, really strong army and a supply lead off that 1 base. That 1 Colossus going down is so crucial. Probes against Roaches, so hard for Probes to do anything. Meanwhile, of course, Vines is going all in across the map with everything he has. And the question is, can TLO hold on, getting the Colossi? And yes, they do go down, both of them dead. And that was certainly worth it for TLO to get that slap off, but can he kill the ground army? Some Broodlords would be great here, but can he get them? Or is he just going to go for a base race? The Lings are going in, but they cannot kill that many Zealots. They're going to try and kill whatever they can in the main base and shut down Vines completely. Meanwhile, in the base of TLO, we do see the big army sitting on his doorstep, and TLO has very little to defend this with. So we'll have to wait and see how he does manage to hold on. If he is able to, does have to go to Spire up. Broodlords are morphing over at the top right here. 5 of them on the way, could morph even more potentially. And yes, he is. That's a total of 8 morphing in. Meanwhile, Vines having Blink Stalkers, it's going to be close. I mean, this base is going to fall. So both players are going to be reduced to very little in terms of their mining. I can see no bases left for Vines, just about no probes left either. He can't even afford a Nexus, so Vines is all in with his current army. Meanwhile, of course, TLO losing his main base right about now. He is about to be supply blocked as his Overlords fall. Now he's supply blocked, so we do indeed see TLO can't produce anything basically for the rest of the game. Neither can Vines. All TLO could do is maybe throw up a whole bunch of spine crawlers with his drones. That's about all I can see him doing with his money, because basically he needs so many Overlords that it's probably not worth it with so little mining. Meanwhile, 3 Stalkers going to die of Vines. It looks like, yes, they are, so that's a great pickup there for TLO in this times when armies are so scarce. But oh, TLO is actually producing off this base, and he is taking up again, getting the spawning pool coming down. Of course, those Lings will have the upgrades that they had before, so as soon as he pumps out Lings, he'll be in a good spot. And actually, the amount of drones he's lost is going to make it a lot easier for him to get those Overlords out that he needed, and suddenly he is not supply blocked anymore. But rather he just needs to basically, needs some time to build up. And there are those spines, 10 spine crawlers, trying to make this base impregnable, as TLO knows, he doesn't even have to move out now. All he has to do is make a point which Empire Vines cannot break, and now he'll be the only one capable of mining, and he will win any sort of game as long as he is able to hold onto this one location. So we'll have to wait and see if he is able to hold, adding on more and more spines is TLO. We do indeed see he does have a few into the ground, 3 Corruptors and just Broodlords, and there's 10 Broodlords, so basically the entire army of TLO, and oh, Vine's not even going to try it, just deciding, okay, 10 Broodlords, this many spines. If I blink underwards, I'm going to get poked to death, and as soon as he sees it, it's GG, and TLO has won in a brilliant response to a base race situation. That game was really, really cool, I find, because VINES, of course, had the better army. TLO was on the back foot, and just by going, alright, I know what to do, I'm going to counterattack, I'm going to try and kill his bases, focus down those nexuses, and if I achieve that, all I have to do is hold on to one location. Of course, that's what he did. And yeah, just the fact that he got his drones out so well, he was just able to anticipate what would happen and just execute his plan so well. As such, TLO is our victor here today, and I hope you enjoyed this game, as it was quite a cool game. VINES, while being at macro, of course, the macro, you can really see all about that hive tech, as without that hive tech, TLO was super weak with a weak army composition, and despite his 2 armor upgrade advantage, yeah, 2 player tech, he's stuffed. As soon as he gets hive tech and is able to build those tier 3 units, he is gonna win the game. And with that base race, I don't know, it's unusual, but I thought it was fun. So thanks for watching, please leave me any feedback if you have any, and I'll see you guys all at another time. And please do subscribe if you like my content. Thank you for watching.